Hi guys, happy Mother's Day. Today we're going to plant parsley, peppers, and tomatoes. And
turn it around to what? Now, look at that over there. Let me zoom in a little bit. Those are not planted yet. Those just came out of the greenhouse. And those are those plants that I got from Salina Farms down in California. And I told you about them. They were about this tall. And now they're those great big huge plants over there. It is way too early for us to be putting plants in the garden. But we have got to get it done because my greenhouse is not big enough for those to grow all season. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do to get ready to plant those tomatoes and the peppers and the parsley. Now, the tomatoes and the peppers are going to go in our Italian bed because they were part of an Italian package that came from Salinas. And then we're going to plant some heirloom tomatoes. We're going to put the parsley over in the parsley bucket that we have with the other herbs that I have in the garden. And I don't know where the other peppers are going to go, but we'll figure it out. So what do we need to do to get ready to plant tomatoes? Is your bed ready? Is it all prepped? Right now we're going to talk about how we're going to prep that bed. So this bed is all ready. We've got all the plants out of it. Of course, we're going to dig out any more little green things that have come and make sure you get rid of those. You can put any kind of additive that you'd like to down in this bed. Today we're just going to take this manure, humus and manure, which it says it's a lawn and garden conditioner. I'll show that again. That is just some material that I picked up on sale a couple of years ago, and I've used it a number of times. It does say it's only for ground gardening, but I've never had any problems with it. I probably don't do it as heavy as I might do compost or any of those other additives that I put in my raised beds. But we're going to go ahead and put about half a bag of this, and then we're going to show you how we add it into the garden soil. Oh. Some of these I can just tear open and they come open so easy. And then others of them I've got to just really work at. Oh, there we go. All right. So you'll notice this is it's really wet right now because it was over there on that play spot that some of this water came down when it rained the other night. But we're just going to put about half a bag of this. It's just, well, actually, I'm going to put this whole bag in there. Most of
since
anyway.
the bag's so small.
Yeah, it's a pretty small bag, huh, Kaylee?
Mm-hmm.
And
if we had a bigger bag, then we would put all of it.
Right.
I mean,
all right, so we're going to go ahead and just push all this compost, manure, hummus, whatever you want to call it, all over the bed. So it's about the same depth everywhere, right? And then we're just going to start on one end. And we're just going to till it in a little bit. Now that's not a big deal, is it? If you just kind of get that in there, just enough to add to the top of your bed and to give it some nutrients. It's just a little bit, not much. And I'll just continue and do this bed, and then we'll get back at you and show you how we're going to plant those tomatoes. Now, Kaylee wants to show you that anybody can do this. It's not very hard work, is it, Kaylee? Doesn't take too much effort, doesn't take too many muscles? Nope.
Well, it takes a little bit of muscle.
A little bit of muscle? Okay.
And you got to make sure you get all that dirt on top.
Yep.
And you can even do it sitting down.
Yeah, you can, Kaylee. All right, Kaylee's going to finish up that bed, and then we're going to show you what we have to put together to put in these tomatoes. So I have dug a hole. It's probably from the tip of my fingers to my wrist, which I don't know, about 6 inches or so. And the things that we're going to put in that hole before we plant the tomato is I've got some 12-12-12 garden code. It's kind of like Osmocote.
Oh, so big is your hand, actually.
It is as big as my hand, isn't it? And this just has an even amount of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. And what this is going to do is it's going to just give it a good strengthening dose of fertilizer just to get this plant started. And I'm just going to take a pinch of that and just drop it in the bottom of the hole. And then I've got some of that soil additive. You can put a pinch in there.
It looks like coffee grounds.
It kind of looks like coffee grounds.
And
There you go. And you just do a
little
pinch
bit
of that.
big.
And then we've got some antacid tablets.
Is this enough?
And I'm sure you're wondering, what are you going to be
This
doing with...
enough?
Yes, honey.
Mash
What are you
it.
doing with antacid tablets? Well, antacid tablets are
smash
100%
it,
calcium.
Me
And
smash
tomatoes...
You smash it. So you can smash.
What did you get? Okay, so we've got these antacid tablets, and they're 100% calcium. And we're going to grind them up, and we're going to put about the same amount of an aspirin in the bottom of them.
And after they're all ground up, should look like this.
And the reason we put the calcium in with the tomato plants is so that they will not get end rot. And the reason we put aspirin in there is so that they can, it'll help with some of the tomato diseases that you get. Anyway, you get it down there in the bottom, and then you just carefully cover it up with some soil. We don't want the tomato plant roots to be completely touching that material. Okay, now we're going to take one of these tomatoes out. Now these are heirloom tomatoes, and they were part of that group that I got from Salina Farms. Now usually I will leave these peat pots around these tomatoes, but with these I want them to get started pretty fast because I'm putting them in the ground earlier, and I want them to be able to sustain some of the heat that we're going to have the next few days. And so I'm just going to pop those pots off there, and you look at this, how that root system is so strong. Look at that. Can you see it? And so, can't see it? There we go. And what we're going to do is pop that peat pot off there, and look at that root system. Then we're going to just break up that root system a little bit. Not too much, because this is kind of an overladen. It's so heavy on the top. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut off this one that's real close to the bottom. And I'm going to also cut off this other one that's close to the bottom. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to plant this tomato plant clear up to this level. And the reason I can do that with a tomato is because they will cause roots to come out from around the stem, where a lot of the other plants are not like that. Now, you notice we've got this other plant already in there. Because these plants are so tall, some of them, we're going to go ahead and put cages on them right now. Sometimes I won't put a cage on until I get a little lengthier, but I'm really worried about the wind we're going to have the next couple of days breaking these tomato plants off. So I'm going to go ahead and put those cages on now, and that'll support them so that they won't get broken off. And that's what we do. It's not that big a deal. There's just a reason for everything that we add in that hole. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to plant 3 more in this bed. And this is going to be our Italian bed. And we're going to plant some peppers right after the tomatoes. So see you back in a sec. Okay, I'm sure you're wondering, why am I planting these plants so close to each other? So you can only video if you've got crazy kids. They make so much noise. Anyway, if you are planting in raised beds, you can plant them about a foot apart as long as you continue to fertilize them during the season. So these will be just fine. And you have to make sure that you have between 18 and 24 inches tall raised beds so that you can go ahead and plant tomatoes in them. They have to have that much root space. Now, if you'll notice, most of all my wooden raised beds are probably 28 to 30 inches tall. I have ordered some more to build, some with a block and with redwood, and they're going to be 36 inches tall, between 30 and 36 inches tall. Now, I have other grow beds that are only probably 18 inches, 12 inches to 18 inches deep. You can't plant tomatoes in them. I tried last year, did not work. So just make sure that your bed is plenty deep. If you're going to do them in containers and just put one tomato plant, make sure that your container is tall. Get a big container. that big at least, because if not, your tomato's not going to grow, it's not going to produce tomatoes, and you're not going to want to do it ever again. So now we're going to plant some peppers. Okay, we're going to go ahead and plant these peppers now. Now I've dug a hole not quite as deep as the tomatoes, because you cannot plant peppers as deep as you do the tomatoes.
And we put some aspirin, not the pods, not anything except aspirin.
Go inside and
right.
Because that
doesn't need calcium, do it?
Yeah, it doesn't need calcium.
Not like the tomatoes do.
Nope.
So we're going to go ahead, we put some aspirin in the hole, we put some of the fertilizer in, and we put a pinch of the activator. Then we're just going to put some more dirt on top of it. Okay, now like those others, I'm going to go ahead and just take these pods, the peat pods off. Look at those great roots in there. Man, this is ready. So we're going to just go ahead, and what I'm going to do though is I'm going to cut off the bottom leaves on these pepper plants. And the reason I do that is so that when we water them, or when it rains, the water won't splash up on those bottom leaves, and it keeps more diseases from coming into your peppers. So we're going to go ahead and backfill that. Now these peppers, they're really healthy right now, and they're trying to set little peppers. So we're just going to pull off those little peppers because it is not ready for that. And we're going to have to be doing that on the tomatoes that I'm going to do this afternoon as well, because some of those little tomatoes have decided to start setting fruit. So that's it. It's easy peasy, no problem. We're going to finish this Italian bed, and then we'll get back to you. All right, so it has been a long day, and yes, I'm in different clothes because I went in to change because I just went on call a few minutes ago. But I came out here to check on the peppers that we planted, and we hadn't put a watering system into them. But if you'll notice behind me, we've been under threat of terrible storms, horrible wind, which we did have horrible wind, and some of my tomato plants don't look very much better because of that wind. But I just came out to play with the peppers, and I'm just going to show you what I did. This is not the end, this is not the stop, this is just like a stopgap measure. So hang on just a sec. So these are the main lines that we have going in, and what I've put are some bubblers, and also right over there in the corner there's a little sprinkler. Over here's a sprinkler that doesn't know that it's supposed to be going all the way around it, and then we've got another sprinkler here. Most of these I'm going to have to come out in the morning and kind of change them a little bit, but I'm just going to leave them on where they are tonight. And this is just a trial thing with this. I don't understand the irrigation system very well, but we're learning. So we did get this bed done, and we've got some soaker hoses going around on those tomato plants, and we got I got a few right here, and we're gonna have to run a line to them. Right now I'm just watering them by hand, but we got more tomatoes here, and I've got them on a dripper system, and it's looking pretty good. And really the tomatoes are looking pretty good, except for that little scrawny thing right there, but hopefully it'll come out of it. And then here is going to be the Italian bed. It also has a drip system on it. You'll see that there's 5 of those tomatoes. I showed you how we were planting them this morning. And then there's 5 of these peppers, which are an Italian sweet pepper. And other than that, that's what we got done today. Now, I know it doesn't look like much, but it is Mother's Day, which is what, the 11th of May, which means that we're about 15 days earlier than what I would usually plant these tomatoes and the peppers. But they were just getting so big in the greenhouse. Tomorrow, I'm going to come out and I'm going to have to do some other things with the watering system so that I can get some squash planted. I've got to get the squash planted. I've got to get some zucchini planted. They're just huge in the greenhouse. They need to come out. If we have any freezing weather in the next 2 weeks, then I'll just come out, and I've got those fiberglass poles, and I'll just make some little greenhouses over the top of these beds. And they're not very big beds, so I should be able to do that with no problem. It's been a good day. I've got my hands dirty. I've learned a little bit about irrigation. I've got tomatoes in the beds. I've got peppers planted. So all in all, it's a good day. So as I'm showing you the weather here, hold on. Yep, we've got some big clouds. The sun's setting over there. It's been raining north of here quite a bit today. At least it looks like it has been. And when we were out here planting, it was really, really hot and the sun was shining, but that didn't last a long time. So here I am. I'm in the most beautiful part of Utah, waiting for maybe a few thunderclouds to come over and maybe drop some rain, because we really need it. But other than that, this has been a day, and we're breaking ground. I've never put a tomato in the ground this early, but we'll see how it goes. I hope you're having a good day. I hope the mothers out there had a wonderful day, and I hope that you're getting ready to put something in your garden if you haven't already. Get your hands dirty and have a lot of fun, and we'll see you later.